Okay, let me go through a technique of study that students often do. Often students will look at a problem, and then what they'll do is they'll just look at the blue area and say, "Oh yeah, gee whiz, good job," and then they're done with it. That is not done with it. It's not even remotely done with it. So what I want to do is I want to talk about there's another way to do the key with a little bit of writing that's going to go a long way in your education. Let me erase this over here. What I would recommend is looking at the key is to understand what they did in the key. And I want to point out what they did in the key. They multiplied both sides by the LCD. Someone says, what's the LCD? The LCD is X times A plus B, A minus B. All right? So what I want to do is go to the key, and I want to see if they got that. All right? So I clearly see if I multiply the first term by that LCD, what would I get? X squared, right, because x times x squared. A plus b disappears, and I'm left off with a minus b. I definitely see that part. The next thing I'm looking at the second term. Right, what would I get over there? Well, I'm looking at that, and I don't even see remotely like that. So what I want to do is wonder, where did that guy come from? Well, this one came from looking at this term, but they're subtracting it. Right? So what were they left off with? Well, they'd be left off with a 2. And again, they're subtracting it. They'd be left off with a squared plus b squared, and they'd be left off with an x. Then they look at this term, and what cancels there? The x would cancel. What are you left off with? Oh, geez, you're left off with a nightmare. A plus b squared, a minus b equals 0. So I understand that. I understand what they did. All right? Now, the next thing to do is looking at it. Were they able to identify the big A? Well, that's the coefficient on the squared term. That's right there. Were they able to identify the coefficient on the x, which is going to be the big B? Well, what they do there, they multiplied it out. They got minus 2a squared minus 2b squared. I see that. And were they able to identify the constant? And that's the constant over there. Now, I think you probably know I don't like going towards a quadratic. For me, it's a lot of work to do that. But you would get this, and you get this in the end. But this is where I would disagree from the key. All right? I would say, no, I think I just want to try to factor that guy. Now, certainly by doing that, I'm going to do some things that are different than the key. What I'm going to do is, well, let's see what we could do. Well, I guess I got to do a multiplication here. I'm going to do trial and error. You know I like doing trial and error. So I'm going to say A minus B x and x equals 0. I definitely get the first term, A minus B times x. And now I'm looking at that last term, and I'm going to make a stab at it. And I'm going to say, let's write this down. A plus B, I got to think. No, I'm going to rethink that. It's more difficult, but it's to me it's easier than the quadratic. I'm going to put this down. And then over here, I'm going to put this over here. But I'm not saying it's working. I'm just saying I'm looking. This looks like it might work. And then I'm going to write down, let's see, A squared. I'm sorry, A plus B. I'm sorry. Made a mistake already. Now, you may be wondering what I'm doing over here. And, nope, I got to revise myself again. It's more difficult. There's no doubt about it. Whoops, I went a little too far there. Let's see, do I get... Oh, I erased the x again. I got to get my eraser out. I'm not saying this works, by the way. I'm just saying it looks like a possibility. Do I get this guy here? Yes. Do I get this guy? I got to be careful. I get negative times a negative positive. Yeah. Here comes my trouble. Do I get the middle? And it looks tough. I'm going to write this down. So what are you going to get? Minus a minus b squared minus a plus b squared. Well, I got to do that. And that's going to be minus a minus b squared plus a plus b squared. And what do you get there? Let's put this down. You get a squared minus 2ab plus b squared plus a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Well, this is nice. This disappears. And then you get 2a squared plus 2b squared, and lo and behold, I get what I expected to get. So this worked out beautifully. However, not everyone agrees with me on that. They might say, no, that's a crazy way of doing the problem. And I'm still not done, but I can write my answers down now. I'm using the zero product rule, so x equals a minus b. And the other one is x would equal, it's going to be more complicated for me, is a plus b squared over a minus b. And let's see if we got those answers in the key. I'm seeing this one here, and I'm seeing this one over here. Again, I hate to do it to you, but if you want to, it's a tough problem, by the way, you can go back and check it. And what would I check? I would plug it in and see if it works out, all right? The one issue you might have about this is, the x can't be 0 in the problem. So, a minus b can't be 0, or a cannot be equal to b in the problem, all right? Those conditions are not written down, by the way. Thank you. Oh, before I forget, my name, Ron Bannon, email address, B as in boy, @ nnon.us. Again, if you reach out to me with questions or concern related to improving the document, I would love to hear from you. All right. I may not be able to return an email to you, but I'll do my best at answering all emails that I receive regarding this document. Thank you.